Enterprises. Soul Calibur.
How's it going, everybody? Ragiroth Enterprises here with another Soul Calibur 6 related video. First of all, I just want to say, my god, it is so nice I can actually have gameplay footage of a Soul Calibur game and just, directly from my PS4 as opposed to like record footage of my TV playing the game. Yeah, so I know I'm kind of late on this. I wanted to talk about the my experience with the beta. I apologize for being kind of late on it. Basically, it was kind of a mix of two things. I had a death in the family, so I kind of had to deal with that kind of around a little after, the timing of the beta. And also there was just another video I wanted to work on and kind of just make sure I finished first, because I was kind of putting off. I want to make sure that was done before I started doing this one. So I guess I'll just talk about, just general impressions of the game, the beta, and I guess some characters I played as. I played as everybody except for, everybody in the beta, except for Zoslamel and Grow, and you're probably wondering why those two. I thought you really liked those guys. And I do. However, usually with me, a tradition I have is characters I really like that I'm really looking forward to, like the top ones. I always save till I actually get the game, so there's actually something to look forward to trying out when I actually get the game. Like I did use Nightmare, and he's been, one of my favorites since I got into Soul Calibur, but it's like, he was the first character I ever played as, and, he's in every game, so it's kind of like, it's not a huge deal about him being in, so it's like, of course I picked him. But yeah, the characters I'll talk about with me playing is like Nightmare, Ivy, Tira, Geralt, and I'd say Keelik. But I guess just for general things, overall it was a pretty nice, fun, and smooth experience for me. I know it's not the case for everybody. I know I started playing it, I think it was probably like maybe 4 or 5 hours after it started up, and like initially I had trouble finding a match, but what I basically did was I kind of just made it so like my options were as open as possible, and I had a lot better luck finding someone to fight as opposed to kind of being more, I guess, picky, of who I'd fight. And the thing is, it's like, you're probably wondering, oh, well, yeah, but you probably run into people that have really big, that you're lagging a lot with. But honestly, that was not really the case. There was, at least on my end, there just was not that much lag. I mean, I don't know about the end of the people that are fighting me, because I will admit I don't use a wired connection. I do use Wi-Fi. Admittedly, I don't really play online that much, so for me it was pretty smooth. I think it was less so lag in some matches. I think it was more so, I guess, like sound crackling. Like I feel like there was some obnoxious, like I'm not really sure how to word it. It's kind of like screen tearing, but I guess more so sound tearing. I did notice some of that, and that was a little obnoxious at some points, but it was only a couple matches, and it wasn't, didn't totally kill the experience or anything like that. It was just a little annoying. I mean, I know it's just the beta, and I guess everyone's kind of fresh at this point, but I was actually really impressed with how I did. Like, I actually won a good chunk of my matches. Even the ones I didn't, it was still pretty close. It was never like a total, like, stomp on myself. Hell, there were some characters I played as that, like, I've barely used before, in past Soul Calibur games, and I managed to do pretty well with them, and I was pretty surprised. I mean, I don't know if maybe I was kind of a veteran and was fighting a lot of newcomers of the series, but it was still pretty cool. I mean, it was a fun experience. If I played online, maybe a month or so after if the game came out, it probably would not be the case. I'd probably get my ass handed to me a couple times, at least a couple times. But it is what it is. And I mean, the game felt, really good to me. I don't know if it was like faster or smoother. I couldn't really put a finger on it of why it felt so good. And like, this was for basically a lot of characters, but like a lot of them, like I'd be doing things that I don't really know how I did, because it's like it's either been a while since I've used them, or it's like they might have changed how they might have changed some commands around or something like that. And I mean, the only thing is, I don't want to say I dislike Reversal Edge, but I don't entirely really understand how it works yet. I was trying to avoid doing that. There were some times where I would like accidentally do it somehow. Or like, I know there were a lot of matches where some people kept trying to do it a lot, and I would be like, no, I'm not doing that, stop. Yeah, like, it's a cool feature. I don't really know how I totally feel about it yet. It just, I don't really entirely understand it yet, and that's unfortunately the problem with betas. I feel like, I understand it's mostly to test the network, but I feel like it's kind of throwing you to the wolves. You really don't get to try things out, because it's like, you're constantly fighting someone, so it's like, that's the thing. I didn't really get to try and say, like, okay, this move does this, it was very, like, on the fly kind of things. But anyway, yeah, overall, I think a really smooth experience. I know not everyone's was quite the same with that, but for me, it was it was definitely, I think, one of the more smoother beta experiences I had. I wish I at least had time on Sunday to do it, but I was a little more distracted with some other things. But I still got to play a good amount on Friday and Saturday. So now I'm going to talk about some of the characters I played as. So the first character I, of course, started as was, of course, my boy Nightmare, the original character I first played as, my original main. And apparently Nightmare is considered, to be very overpowered in this game. I don't know if it's more so that people don't really know how to deal with him yet. I mean, it's a little disheartening hearing that, especially because I don't really know if he's ever been considered overpowered before. But here's the thing. With me, it's like, Nightmare to me is Nightmare. It's like, he's the original character I've used. If there's anyone that, I don't know if he's my best character, but if there's anyone that I feel the most in tune with and the most comfortable with, it's Nightmare. So it's like, I really couldn't tell if I'd be doing better with him if he was overpowered or not, because I'm just so comfortable with him at this point. It's like, yeah, there were some things that like I would do, and I'm like, oh, I don't remember that button doing that for Nightmare, because they made him a little more. They gave him some more of, I guess, Siegfried's things on this game, which threw me off in some instances, but I'm like, oh, okay, it's a Siegfried move, but all right, now he has it. And like, yeah, I did play as Siegfried too. I mean, I like playing as both of them. I prefer Nightmare, but I mean, they're both cool. I think they're both they were considered obnoxious to fight. Funnily enough, I actually fought Nightmare one time with Ragiroth, and I'm pretty sure I at least won one of the matches I had with the person. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really into the the hardcore competitive meta with the game, so it's like I don't really know all that jargon and stuff. It's gonna be very like kind of shallow impressions on my end with this kind of stuff. But I'm not. Nightmare felt like Nightmare to me. He's pretty awesome to play as. Looks awesome, played awesome. All I can really say there. I mean, he does probably play better than he does in Soul Calibur 5, especially because it's like his critical edge is still both a counter and an attack. So the next character I played as is Ivy, probably my favorite female in the series. It's hard for me to say which incarnation she's the closest to. I feel like she's some kind of middle ground between her Soul Calibur 4 version and Soul Calibur 5 version. Like, I think she's a bit more complex to use than the Soul Calibur 5 version, but she's not quite as in-depth and complicated as she was in Soul Calibur 4. I think Soul Calibur 4 was the game she was like the hardest to use. I do admittedly kind of miss some of the stances she had back in Soul Calibur 4. Like, I think that coiled one, I think it was called that. As far as I know, she doesn't have that anymore. I don't think she has that many stances in general. I think there's only one or two I maybe did in the beta. I mean, again, I may not have, I couldn't really check the moves, so it's like I can't freaking do it. But I think there was like at least maybe one I was doing where she kind of has like swings the whip around and be like, she's like ha 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 or something. But no, Ivy felt pretty good. She, I did still feel at home with her too. I mean, she was always a character I was kind of hit or miss with because she's more complicated to use than someone like Nightmare. But she definitely felt pretty good. Again, it's tricky for me to say, which incarnation she felt most like, but I feel like she has a little more depth than 5, but I'm not as crazy as 4. So I feel like this game maybe hit the perfect middle ground with our girl Ivy. So now I'll talk about Keelik. Keelik was never a character I used a terribly huge amount. I mean, I always liked the guy. I'm just not really I'm not usually a fan of like weapons that are just kind of like blunt weapons, not like bladed or anything like that. So I never really used him that much. But I guess it's like with Keelik, it was kind of a matter of you don't really know what you have till it's gone. I mean, I know he was in 5, but he wasn't really like moveset wise. He wasn't really in 5, if you get what I mean. And I really like that he had kind of the dark, I guess, corrupt form in this game. I think that was pretty cool. But Keelik, from what I could tell, felt basically like his Soul Calibur 4 and earlier on our incarnations. He's a fairly accessible character with some good range. Like maybe not as like brutal as like Nightmare and Siegfried, but still can be a pain to deal with. I don't think I did quite as good with him, but I think it was partially only because I really wanted to do a soul charge and I was having trouble finding out what soul charge was. And then I think I found out kind of later on that it's just R2 and back and not just R2 or any other direction. Again, just another frustrating part about betas where you can't really try things out. You're kind of just trying everything on the fly and seeing what sticks. But I did try to make use of his soul charge form. I mean, I wouldn't use it whenever I could because it's like it's one of the more unique soul charges because it drains your health. So I kind of want to make sure it's like I at least had some sort of an edge over my opponent if I used it, or maybe if it's like I knew I'm probably not going to win, so I'm going to wing it kind of thing, but not like, you know, if we're kind of even and, you know, oh, well, I got one, so I'll just do it. Or if I'm like low on health, that'd be stupid. No, Killick is definitely pretty fun. I think, you know, admittedly, yeah, it is partially because of his cool soul charge and just because it's like the fact he's kind of back to his classic self. I want to use him more, but he's definitely still pretty fun to use and very accessible. Alright, so now I'll talk about Tira. As soon as I saw her on the character select screen, I'm like, oh boy, people are going to be pissed that the DLC character that they're all pissed about is in the beta. I mean, I personally didn't really care. I'm just like, wow, Bandai Namco are really not helping themselves with this. I mean, I kind of just saw it as like, you know, oh, well, you know, you kind of get to preview the DLC character to see if, you know, you want to, you know, definitely pre-order the season pass, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm getting it anyway, but no, Tira next to Ivy has probably always been my favorite female. And I absolutely love her design in this game. It's probably my favorite design for her. So I definitely want to try her out. And like, she was always a character I really liked. I don't really know how good I was with her. She, you know, I guess she is a little bit more technical. And it didn't help that she is like the whole like two like personality thing. And like, I mean, that was not that big of a deal, but it's like, then like, you know, some of the moves she hurts herself. It's like, oh, and like, I don't know which moves do, which moves don't. But like in this game, I did like really good with her. I was really impressed with how I did with her. I don't know why I did so much better. She was definitely a character I didn't really know what I was doing as much, or at least less so than the others. Like Nightmare and Ivy and Killick, I had a little more semblance. But Tira was kind of more like, oh, what? I don't know what I'm doing, but okay. But she's definitely, you know, still really fun to use. It's definitely, you know, I like every character I think is probably, like, even ones I don't like as much, I think are just more fun to use in this than, you know, some of the previous games. I mean, like some I already love so much that I can't really be beat, but you know, no one really felt worse, you know, and Tira's, I think, definitely one of the ones that felt even better. Like, again, I can't really put my finger on it, but, you know, she's just really fun to use, and I was just doing really good with her. I don't think she hurts herself anymore. You know, again, I may not have been looking at the health bar at the same time, but it didn't look like she hurt herself. If she doesn't, that's awesome, but if she does, whatever, I still managed to do pretty good with her. Alright, so then I want to talk about Geralt, our guest character. Now, you know, in the past, you know, with Geralt, I was always so lukewarm to him. I'm like, oh, I just wanted kind of a guest. I wanted more, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I did warm up to him, and I think this made me even warm up to him even more, because I just, you know, he was really cool to play as. I don't know if he's also considered overpowered or anything like that, too. He probably is. The guest characters usually are. But anyway, no, I think I like him because he feels like a Soul Calibur character, but he also still kind of has, like, you know, some cool tricks and stuff from like his own game, like, you know, with the signs and all that, and like, you know, even some that, you know, and like it was cool. I like how like some of his throws are like kind of more cinematic, because, you know, they're done, I guess, on how like some of the I think it's the finishing moves from Witcher 3 Witcher 3 was, which is pretty cool. Yeah, he felt like really good to me, like really fast, really accessible. Like, I don't know, his moveset may have been a bit more limited than some of the other characters. I'm not 100% sure with that. I know, I think he's very like meter based, because I think, you know, I can't really totally tell what moves drain meter and what didn't, but I think a lot of his sign based moves do drain meter, because it's like, I feel like it was taking really long for me to be able to do his soul charge or critical edge. But no, Geralt's a lot of fun to use. I'm definitely gonna be using him or his style and create a character a lot. You know, I'm definitely a lot more happy with the game, even though I still would really like a guest character that I'll be happy with out of the gate. But, you know, we'll see what happens with that. I won't talk too much about that. Now, I know I said there's 5 characters, but I actually forgot one. I'm sorry. Yoshimitsu is the 6th character I really wanted to talk about. As I've expressed in the past, Yoshimitsu in Tekken, I love. He's always one of my favorites. In Soul Calibur, not so much. Like in 5, I liked him more, but this game, I just really like using him a lot more. I mean, it really helps that I absolutely love his design in this. Just like Tekken 6 had my favorite Tekken design for Yoshimitsu, Soul Calibur 6 has my favorite Soul Calibur design for Yoshimitsu. I guess 6 is his lucky number, at least for me. I don't know, for some reason, he just felt a lot more accessible. Like, his moves weren't as awkward to pull off. I mean, like, yes, you know, he's still a tricky to use character, but I feel like, I'm not sure, like he had better range or he was faster. There's just something about him that just felt so much better. Just a lot better than, you know, in past Soul Calibur games. I don't know, maybe I've just gotten better or something. It's really hard to say, or if this, you know, if the gameplay is just so much more smooth that everyone feels so much more smooth. But no, Yoshimitsu felt so much better. He looks so much better. Everything about him is just so much better in this game. He's definitely, I think, one of the most improved veterans of the game, especially for someone that hasn't even didn't even leave from Soul Calibur 5. I think I'm definitely going to be using him a lot more. I mean, he's not someone I could really see, my creative style, giving his creative style to, just because I can't really think of characters to make with that kind of wacky style. But even still, he's a lot more fun to use in this game, and I'm definitely probably going to use him a lot more. So I think that's it. I'm sorry if they were kind of very sort of shallow impressions. Just talking about how the characters felt to me and how much I enjoyed using them. Another thing I really liked is I feel like I was able to actually use guard impact a lot more. I think partially because it's so nice that it doesn't actually take meter in this game. But it's something I always had trouble with in past games, and I feel like I was able to actually time it well this time. I'm not sure if that's really anything to do with the game or just me kind of getting better over the years. But no, overall the beta was a really fun experience, and made me look even more forward to the game. I mean, it eliminates some of, I guess, the initial surprise of trying things out, but now and when I get the game, I'll be able to try them out, more on my own terms, and of course Zostanol and Grow and as well. And I know New York Comic Con, assuming the demo has more characters, I at least want to try out like Astaroth and Solmina. But I think that's about it. Let me know what you guys thought about the beta for those that did play it. Did you like it? Any problems? Looking more forward to the game? Looking less forward to the game? Let me know. Like the video if you like it. Dislike it if you dislike it. It's a free country. Don't forget to check out my friend Mark Hune in the description below. And if you like this video and some of my other videos, feel free to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, as it would motivate me to keep making more videos, and it would let you know when I release those videos. And as I always say, another time, another place, keep being awesome.